Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to day 18 of our look at our favorite female-fronted bands of all time. That's right, there's 30 days in the month of November. We're giving some love to the ladies this month. We're picking out our 30 favorite bands, rock bands, hard rock band, classic rock band, progressive rock, and all forms of metal, right? Pop, that whole thing, new wave, whatever you like, right? We're all picking them out. I'm picking my 30 favorites. You're picking yours as well down in the comments below. And today's pick for day 18, this is probably if we would have done this like maybe 5 years ago, I'm not sure I would have picked them in my top 30. I've always liked certain songs by this band, but I never really got into their albums all that much. But in the last couple of years, I've been getting a little softer on the band, The Pretenders, of course with Chrissie Hynde, right? Lead vocalist slot, lead vocalist, also rhythm guitar player. You have here the debut album, very fine debut album. Some people might say one of the great debut albums of all time. Yeah, very, very likely so. For me, their first two albums are pretty damn good. And, there's some good material on subsequent albums, but for me, what I kind of gravitate towards the most is the material from these first two albums. Of course, Chrissie, like I said, lead vocals, rhythm guitars, Martin Chambers on drums, Pete Pardo on bass guitar, backing vocals, and James Honeyman Scott on lead rhythm guitars, little bits of keyboards here and there, backing vocals, and what have you, right? So, of course, the music of the Pretenders, post-punk, new wave, kind of a blending of the two, late 70s, right? The debut comes out in 79. That's kind of the style that's happening at the time. You got the punk era in the UK is kind of starting to die down a bit, and all of a sudden you've got this kind of a little more artful, playful pop music that incorporates some of the post-punk music, hence we get new wave, right? A lot of pop in their music as well. There's also some straight rock and roll here too. There's some absolutely classic songs on here, right? This album did very, very well for them. You got Tattooed Love Boys, which is a great song. I love the instrumental Space Invader. Stop Your Sobbing was a sort of a hit for them, right, as well. And Mr. Dave Davies had a bit to do with that, right? Wrote the song. Kinks also played it as well. You had Kid was released as a single. You got Brass in Pocket, probably the most well-known song on here. Brass in Pocket's got this kind of like... there's this kind of classy, just kind of vibe to it that I think that really resonated with a lot of people. Private Life is really good. In fact, Private Life, I love a lot, actually. Private Life might be my second favorite song on the album. That's just kind of like this moody rock track. It's got some great guitar playing from the late and very underrated James Honeyman Scott, who does some really, really good rock guitar licks on this album. For me, though, Mystery Achievement is the grand achievement on this album. That I have always liked that song, even way back in the day when the Pretenders were kind of a big deal. I was never a huge fan back then, but I always really liked that song. I like their more gritty stuff. You got some punky stuff on here, right? You got, Precious and the Phone Call, a lot of upbeat stuff. Up the Neck is really good as well. But just a good record that I think holds up really well to this day. The songs still kind of resonate. I will say, though, I'm a big fan of the second album. I think the second album may not have a couple of the standout tracks that the debut does, but I think like top to bottom, I think this might be like slightly stronger album, at least for me. I know most people are going to disagree with that, but I think Pretenders 2 really, really good. You got Bad Boys Get Spanked, Message of Love is great, I Go to Sleep is terrific, Talk of the Town is a really, really fun song, Pack It Up is good and upbeat, Jealous Dogs, The English Roses is great, Waste Not, Want Not. Again, no real huge hits on this album. Day After Day is fun too, but like I said, I think start to finish, this is pretty strong. From track to track, even Louie, the final song is lots of fun. So, and it's probably less of a kind of punk-influenced album than the debut, and a little more of the direction they would go in on subsequent albums. Of course, they were Learning to Crawl would be a big hit for them as well. You got Back on the Chain Gang here as well. Get Close. And of course, Last of the Independents. They've got a whole bunch of other albums, right? But this album would be their big hit in the 80s, of course. But yeah, good band. Chrissie Hynde, let's talk a little bit about her. She is definitely an original. Maybe some people might say that she got some of her image and thing and her attitude from Suzi Quatro, but I think that Chrissie was, she had a distinct look, she had a distinct vibe, she had a very unique voice. She played guitar, right? She had this kind of tough girl persona, which I think really worked, and it was different. And she came across as a late 70s, early 80s punk, right? She's just, there's just always something about her. There's kind of like this almost mythological status of Chrissie Hynde. She's one of those female rock artists from that era alongside, Deborah Harry, but Chrissie was more had the tough guy image, right? So, and I think that was always pretty cool. But she just always looked badass. Lots of attitude, and the band kind of did as well, right? Even they were doing more poppy stuff later on. I think there was still something about her that I think spoke a little differently to audiences than some of the other female rock stars of that era, of that time. So, the Pretenders are my pick for today. And this is a really good setup for those of you looking to get into the Pretenders, or maybe don't have a lot of their stuff and want to get, 5 really cool albums all in one shot, very inexpensive. That's the way to go. So, that's my pick for today. So let us know what you think of Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, day 18. As we march on through to number 30, we've got, about 2 weeks left, just under. So we will continue on. I got more to come, so stay tuned tomorrow morning for another. And we'll go on and on and on till the 30th, and then we move into December, which of course is my top 31 albums of the year. Each and every day you're going to get one of my top 31. I'm going to start from number 31, march all the way to number 1 on December 31st. So that's what you got for the month of December. So stay tuned for that, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Stay tuned. In just a few moments, we've got Mr. Martin Popoff coming up. He and I will be traveling into the Funhouse here this Friday morning. And tomorrow, UK Connection. And on Sunday, we've got Ranking the Albums. So lots of content coming up this weekend. And see you tomorrow morning for another of our favorite female-fronted rock bands. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. See you soon. Bye-bye.